YouTube ready for live streaming.
Should pop up a thing asking you to confirm that we're going to be live streamed. I think we're going to be live in like 2 seconds.
Cool.
Hold tight though.
No worries. For anyone comfortable, feel free to have your videos on so people can see your lovely faces. Cool. So I think we are live. Thanks everyone for joining today's Akash Insider, very special Akash Insider office hours. For folks listening in on the live stream, my name is Adam Wozney. I head up community at Overclock Labs, founders of Akash Network. And today we're doing something a little different. So what you guys are viewing today is something that's generally exclusive just for our Akash Insider community. And for those that are unfamiliar with the Akash Insiders, they're basically in the front lines introducing different crypto communities, different people in person and online to DePIN, to Akash ML, to all the different things that Akash are doing. They're hosting events, they're moderating channels, they're writing code, they're doing everything. So if you ever wonder how things are getting done at Akash, those are the folks that are doing it. So you guys are privy to the first time ever we're hosting this publicly. And the whole goal behind hosting this publicly is we want to showcase what community members are doing. We want to encourage folks that are interested in getting more involved in Akash to apply to become an Akash Insider. I'll share some links in the YouTube channel here shortly for folks that would like to apply. But what you're viewing here today is basically what folks that are part of the Akash Insider community view every single Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We'll go through some community updates. We'll have some agenda items. And we even have a special guest today, Boris from Boris. I think Boris is in here. Yeah, Boris is in here. Boris joining us from SubQuery. Generally, the office hours kind of go that way. So it's talking to the community, getting an understanding of what people are working on building, giving some Akash community updates, and sometimes we even bring in a special guest to give updates on their projects. So without further ado, I want to kick it off. Number one, how's everyone doing? Insiders, how you guys doing today? I see a lot of clapping hands. I'll take that as a good
All
thing.
good, man. Holiday almost here.
I know. This is the second to last office hours of the year. We got one more next week, just exclusive to you guys. So if you guys listening in on the YouTube stream want to join, apply today and maybe you can join. But good to see you, Robert. See some other familiar faces in here. Before I get into my agenda, are there any agenda items that people want to cover? Anything top of mind? No? Cool. Then we'll kick things off. So I first want to welcome 3 new Akash Insiders to the community. We onboarded 3 new folks. We have Dan, Taiwo, and Aaron. Dan, Taiwo, or Aaron, are you guys on the call? I'd love for you guys to introduce yourselves to the rest of the Insider community. I'm looking in the chat, see if we can see anyone.
Yeah, I'm here. Aaron's here.
Hey, Aaron.
I lost the Zoom window.
No worries. Yeah, I would love for you to kind of very briefly introduce yourself to the rest of the Insider community.
Sure. So I am Aaron. I'm a developer with the Jackal protocol team. I focus on front end and integrations between different networks and front end and back end and Web 2 to Web 3. So a lot of hats. But that's my day job. You might have seen my recent posts talking about Akash.js. That's something that immediately piqued my interest as I maintain a very similar project for Jackal called Jackal.js, creative name. But yeah, so looking forward to getting to know more about how things fit together outside of my small world and look at bringing things together.
For sure. Well, we're stoked to have you, and we got to get your colleague Emery, who's also an Akash Insider in these calls. Can't believe he didn't show up today. We knew we were going to introduce you. Where is he? Why isn't he here? I hope he's just on vacation.
There's a bunch of stuff going on with the econ stuff today, so he's pretty busy with that. So I think we're putting the econ proposal on chain this afternoon.
Very cool. You can fill him in after.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for the introduction. And then it looks like we also have Dan on the call, one of our other new insiders. Dan, are you there? I see you're muted, so I don't know if you're talking. Oh, trying to fix the mic. Okay. then as soon as you get the mic working, just raise your hand or jump in and we can kind of give a quick intro to Dan, one of the other new insiders we have in the community. Next agenda item is one of my favorites, is icebreakers. This is just an opportunity to kind of get to know each other a little bit more, understand what people are interested in and thinking about. And last time, our last icebreaker was, what's your favorite podcast? Tom was talking about the Knowledge podcast, which I just subscribed to, and I'm going to check that out soon. Tyler is a big fan of Comedy Bang Bang. I used to listen to that, not for me so much, but to each their own. Mr. Luna liked History of Rome. Andrew likes S. I'm not going to say it because it's a naughty word. S, I Should Know Live. Robert, one of his favorite podcasts is How I Built This, and Nate is a big Doctor Who fan. But today's icebreaker, feel free to raise your hand or just jump into the conversation, is what was the last book you read? I'll kick things off. And the last book I read was actually a book by Carl Reiner. He's an old comedian. I think he's still alive, but he's probably like high 90s. Basically just kind of it was called My Anecdotal Life. And it's basically just a bunch of stories about his different life living and working in the entertainment industry. I've been kind of on a comedian autobiography kick lately. So that one's good. There's better ones that I can suggest in the insiders chat that everyone in this call has access to. And if you want to have access to it, people on the YouTube stream, apply to be an insider today. But raise your hands or feel free to jump in. What was the last book you read? Looks like Del Rey says white papers and dev docs. Those don't count as books. What white papers did you read last, Robert?
I don't know, man. I believe it was the Akash white paper.
It's a good one to read. Definitely a good one to read. Any other books that people just finished reading, or the last book that they read? How about Boris? What about you? Any book that you read recently?
Yeah, rather skimmed through. There's one Yale professor, a professor in statistics from Yale University. In this book, it's really tied to my professional interests. It's about the statistical evidence and data visualization that is leading to the statistical evidence. There was it was like partially about it, but like I think it's overall like about the design of different things. But yeah, this particular part was interesting because yeah, I'm interested in data. So, and I'm here because of data.
Yeah.
And I'll be showing you my data. So yeah, there was a very interesting chapter there about a cholera epidemic in the middle of 19th century. So essentially only the statistical analysis and like proper data analysis of the proper things like help to understand the root cause and essentially stop it before the things are getting really bad. So really recommend you reading this book and check it out.
Wow, you're reading books on how to make the world a better place, and I'm reading comedy books. We're not built the same. It sounds like you learned a lot from it, though. That's cool. And I saw in the chat here, Sid said he read a book called The Beginning of Infinity. He said super dense but incredible. Another super scientific dense book. Man, I gotta get up to you guys' speed. I'm way behind here. Any other books that you guys just finished reading you want to call out? Looks like Aaron has his hand up.
Yeah, it's actually been quite a while, I realize, with this question. Since I have actually read a book, I mostly read dev docs. So I'm a little disappointed that's discouraged. But the last book that I read was Jim Butcher's new Dresden novel. I'm a big fan of the Dresden series. If you've never read urban fantasy, good genre, I think.
Urban fantasy. Is that like what if scenarios, like what if something happened kind of thing, or?
No, it's more like taking traditional fantasy and reimagining it in a modern urban setting.
Interesting. That sounds kind of tight.
It's if you're familiar with Shadowrun, it's similar to the Shadowrun, but without the tech side of it.
Got it. How long ago was it you read that book? You said it was a while ago.
Oh, probably a year ago now.
Yeah, I feel like I go in waves. You kind of read some and then you stop for a while. So I'm with you on that. Looks like we got Dan. Oh, Dan, go ahead. You can introduce yourself and maybe say the last book you read.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, everyone. My name is Dan. I just joined us inside the group 2 days ago, I think, or 3 days ago. Time passes fast, I know. Anyway, so I'll be focusing on design and creatives, mostly For Twitter, I would say I'll just start with Dennis, who's the main design guy behind Akash, and we'll see what we can create together. We're gonna think he said we're gonna meet like next month or something and see how I can help, because it's just the year will finish now, so most of the deliverables are already finished. So we'll see how I can give you guys a help next month, I guess. And yeah, I've been working like 2 years in graphic design, and that's pretty much it. And in terms of books, last book I've read was 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. I actually didn't finish it. I'm like 60% done or something like that. I don't know if I'll finish it, but we'll see.
Very cool. Thanks for the intro, Dan, and thanks for the book rec. So you're saying all of the other insiders can go to you if they have graphic design questions, is that right?
I mean, yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Cool. That's what we're here for, to support one another. So very cool. Thank you, Dan. I'll quickly read off a couple more I see in the chat. Looks like Ty said he's reading The Two Towers, a great Lord of the Rings book. I just reread The Lord of the Rings a couple months ago, and I forgot how amazing it is. So definitely read Lord of the Rings. And then Envy said he's rereading Goeth's Faust after several years. I don't even know what that is. Envy, what is that exactly? Not sure you can unmute. I'm guessing you can't unmute. Nope, no mic. No worries, Envy. Totally cool. Abiola said he's reading Practical UI. What's that one about? I don't know if you can unmute too. Nope, can't unmute. Wow, a lot of unmutable people. It's usually not like this.
Maybe Akash should send some makes and cameras to the insiders. Just throwing an idea here.
That's, you're not wrong. Oh, and we got one more. Andrew can maybe talk about this. Oh, reading The Foundation, Isaac Asimov, fantastic. Anybody watching that movie or the TV show on Apple TV Plus? It's been pretty good. No worries, Abiola. I see you said you have a sore throat. How are you liking The Foundation, Andrew? Let me guess, your mic, you can't get your mic to work.
No, I'm okay. I'm here. So all good.
All right.
So basically, yeah. The book is great. The show, like, not so much, because it has like from the original story, the show has only like the name Foundation and basically the soul and a few characters that they jump in through time, which is not like the original story at all. It's mostly about like you probably read about the Foundation. Yeah, it's about the mathematician and the galaxy like far away, but like the reason for the Foundation, it's more on the political side, how they solve things and with the technology and the stuff, and how they like negotiate with different planets. And for the show right now there's are going, it's more like real fantasy, like they just jumping through time, looking for some stuff, they like reading minds, etc. So the original story doesn't have this stuff, but like it's like two totally different kind of like stories. And nevertheless, the book is great, and the show also has like its way to live. I'm also watching it. I'm just like, there is nothing like here from the book, but I'm still watching.
That's pretty standard. I always feel like 90% of the time books are always better than the movies or the TV shows. This one is just different. It's not that it's better, it's just different.
Yeah, just totally different. Well, I'm still waiting for the TV series for the Harry Potter. I think they should be like pretty precise with the book. They should come like
that. Wow,
yeah,
I didn't know there's gonna be a TV series. Now I'm
stoked.
Yeah.
It's going to be on like 2024 or 25, something like that. They are just
Very cool. I'm stoked for that. Cool. And I'm looking at the chat. I think that kind of got through all the books. Thank you guys for sharing those. If anybody starts reading those books, or if they finish up, head over to the Insiders channel and send some of those links so people can maybe get those books on Amazon or however they get them. That's it for that. Next up on the agenda is events. So I'm sure all of you, I've talked about it numerous times, saw that the events governance proposal has passed. That being the case, there are a handful of events that I've been working on with some of the folks on this call, other insiders, and getting our ducks in a row and what we'll be doing for presence at these events. The first big one that's coming up is ETH Denver. That's in February. We're sponsoring it. We're going to have a booth there. Some of the insiders in this call and that aren't in this call are going to be joining. They're going to help out with that booth. And then I'm also working on a Cosmos specific meetup with a few other Cosmos projects like Cosmoverse folks, Osmosis, Kiev, and a handful of others. So I'm really excited for ETH Denver. That's coming up in February. The next one is NVIDIA, GTC NVIDIA. This is going to be one of our first really ever Web 2 kind of events. But because Akash has an AI presence now, it makes sense to go there and kind of get a sense of the vibe within the space and see kind of how we can fit into the greater Web 2 space. This one's going to be pretty lightweight. We're sending a few folks, maybe one insider, and we're looking at doing a private dinner with some, hopefully some high C-level executives, maybe from NVIDIA, who knows? So that's going to be kind of a lightweight event. There's just a few people going and attending and just kind of figuring out like how we can kind of get more involved in future events with NVIDIA. Next big one that's coming up is KubeCon in Europe. There we're going to be sponsoring a booth. We're looking to get a couple speaking opportunities, and we're also going to bring along 3 of you insiders, which I'm really stoked to be working with you guys again, managing that booth presence at KubeCon. This is another kind of traditional Web 2 space, but because there is an AI focus and because, again, Akash is kind of getting into the AI space, it makes sense for us to kind of feel it out and see what we can kind of pull together from our presence at KubeCon. Last one is actually going to be happening in Q2. I believe it's in May, and that's Consensus. It's kind of the granddaddy OG of all crypto events. Basically, if you're not there, do you even exist in crypto? We're sponsoring that as well. And we're doing an AI exclusive meetup. It's the only AI event that Consensus will be promoting actively, and we're the ones that own that. Looking to bring maybe 1 or 2 insiders along to kind of help out with our presence at that event. That's still a number of months off, so still a lot to work out. But the big 3 that are coming up in January, February, and March are ETH Denver, NVIDIA, and KubeCon. And I see a hand up. Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, sorry, it was from the previous time. Yeah, sorry.
No worries, no worries. And then again, for folks listening in on this call, if you join the Insiders program, and after you've been around for a few months and everything's moving along nicely, you do get the opportunity to potentially attend and represent Akash at events. So again, if you want to get involved, go apply to the Akash Insiders. Just head over to akash.network, click on community, and follow the prompts. Next thing on the agenda is governance proposals. So I just mentioned the events governance proposal, which has passed. The next one that's going to be on the docket, probably before the end of the year, will be the hackathon proposal. We're looking to do 3 more hackathons, partnering with Dora Hacks starting next year. Probably one in the beginning of the year, one in the middle, and one towards the end. Still working out exactly what some of the tasks and some of the ideas will be for what we want people to build. But the general concept is hosting 3 hackathons, getting some builders to build things top of Akash. We are looking for 3 roles to help support from the insider community. One would be kind of a marketing manager, looking for people to help kind of promote the hackathon, sign up judges for the hackathon, and even get some sponsored tracks going. One is an events manager, and that would be somebody that would be helping with the workshops that will happen throughout the course of the hackathon, which would run about a month and a half, for all 3 of those hackathons. And then finally, a community manager. And that would be somebody that'd be able to answer questions inside of a private Discord channel for the hackathon participants. So that governance proposal is right now up for discussion in the Akash GitHub. Go over there and make your voices heard, provide feedback, and then we'll use that to update or get ready to put it on chain for a vote. And then the final governance proposal is the community support proposal. And that's pretty straightforward. It's basically looking to use community pool resources to fund the Vanguards program, which is kind of the subset of the insiders community for folks listening in. It's people that are responding to Discord questions and creating code, developing video content, launching Zeely, which is something that Robert has a lot of familiarity with. Akash now has a presence on Zeely, thanks to Robert. Thank you, Robert. So if you're looking to get involved in the Vanguards, you got to sign up to be an insider. And then in addition to that, it's looking to fund bounties. And those bounties can be one-off opportunities to kind of improve the Akash network to make it easier for builders to build on it. So that governance proposal is up for debate right now. And then hopefully in early next year, we should be putting that on chain for a vote. Then we get funding to move things forward on that side. Next up on the agenda, I'm just looking at the chat, we're good. Oh, and Tyler, real quickly, is there any questions coming in from the YouTube or are we all good there?
We're all good there. One person did ask a question Minty Fresh Vibes asked what makes one a quote unquote insider. But I think you've covered that. And then some people were dropping in some of the books that they've been reading.
Excellent. If you can do me a favor, Ty, and just post the link to the Akash Insiders website, it'll give you a full rundown, Minty, on what an insider is, what the responsibilities are, what the incentives, how do you get involved, and the application form. We review those on an ongoing basis, and then we generally reach out and start to set up calls to see if it's a good fit. So that's kind of how that all works. Cool. Next up is we have a Twitter Spaces coming up with Greg and Anil. So for folks listening to the internet, Greg, co-founder of Akash and founder of Overclock Labs. He's working with Anil, who's the head of product for Overclock Labs. We're going to do an end of year 2023 in review from the Akash's perspective and looking ahead to 2024 from Akash. And that Twitter Spaces is happening on the 20th of December at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I believe if you go over to the Twitter page, you can actually RSVP to that event. Definitely one you don't want to miss. And then one other really unique opportunity to kind of meet with Greg one-on-one. Next week, our final office hours, our final insider office hours is going to be on the 21st at our usual time. And Greg's going to be our special guest. And it's an opportunity for everyone in this call to ask Greg those burning questions you've been thinking about ever since joining the Insiders program or getting involved in Akash. You can ask him anything. You can ask what his favorite color is, or you can ask him what the future plans of Akash look like. So it's a really unique, exclusive opportunity for insiders to kind of get his thoughts. So again, if you want to get involved in that, head over to the Akash website and apply to be an insider. Next up is, we're doing one more thing, another kind of opportunity for insiders to get involved if they'd like. We're doing an end of year blog post. So I believe my colleague Zach is on this call. He's been working on an end of year blog post, kind of recapping all the cool things that have happened at Akash and also looking ahead a little bit to 2024. Zach, is there anything you wanted to cover about the blog post?
It is in the works currently, so we'll be definitely chatting on Discord with you guys because I'd love feedback on how you guys have experienced the community over the years, all the things we've been up to, and we'll be compiling that into a really comprehensive look back at 2023. Should be published in the next couple of weeks. On the marketing side as well, I'm sure you guys saw this yesterday, but we launched our Akash chat app, which did some really big engagement on Twitter. That's chat.akash.network if you want to check it out. But that's it on the marketing side.
Very cool. Thank you, Zach. And yeah, if you want to get involved with the blog post, feel free to jump into the insiders chat and make your voice heard, and we can have myself or Zach reach out and see how we can get you plugged into it. Next up, only a couple more agenda items, and I'll hand it off to you, Boris, to kind of give a high-level overview of SubQuery and some of the cool things you guys are doing over there. But we have some special interest groups and working groups on the horizon. It's going to be, I think it's the last week of the special interest groups, and I'll hand it to you, Tyler, in a second to give any updates. But next week, Monday, we're doing a Zeely working group. Robert on this call, Del Rey, he's been very involved, kind of spearheading our Zeely presence, which has been fantastic. So big shout out to Robert on that. Tuesday, we're doing a special interest group call on documentation. And then Wednesday, we're doing a special interest group call on support. And for folks listening in that may not be familiar, special interest groups and working groups are something that we formed about a year ago. And basically, it's a way for people that want to get involved in the Akash ecosystem to get involved in specific items within the Akash ecosystem. I mentioned a few of them a minute ago. Support, documentation. We also have providers. We have ecosystem. We have community. We have economics. We have a bunch of different special interest groups that it's public and anyone can join to kind of learn more and get involved. So if you want to get involved with that, head over to the Akash website and you can see more about all the different special interest groups and working groups that are live right now. Before I hand it to Tyler, I'll throw it to Robert. I see your hand up.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, a quick word about Zeely. Tomorrow, Friday, the pilot officially ends, and we're gonna see who are the winners. But so far, I'm happy to see that over 50 people have requested to join the Zeely community in just 2 weeks that we have this program. So that doesn't mean that 52 people will win rewards, right? But it's good to see the amount of initial engagement that we have there. Stay tuned for surprises. We're gonna do an announcement tomorrow. So this was just an announcement of the announcement, I guess. And yeah, the last working group call for this year is gonna happen next Monday. So if you wanna get involved in the Silly campaign, if you wanna drop feedbacks, ideas, that call would be a great place. If you don't mind, Adam, I just would like to add one quick more comment, and it's about the next community initiatives. As you were saying, we've been doing these community groups calls for almost a year. There are many. We have design, website, which is happening tomorrow. We have support. Uh, Insiders and the broader community listening to this, if you think you are good in something or you have certain types of skills that you believe can benefit Akash, just browse through the working groups and see which group kind of aligns best with you, kind of resonates with you more. I don't know. Me, myself, I gravitate more towards the community group, the design group, and those groups, right? But you maybe want to join other groups like economics groups. So have a look at those groups, right? And see which group you can join for this next 2024 because we're gonna do big things next year. I'm super excited, man. I'm gonna leave it there, right? And one quick question I have for you, Adam. I don't know if you said it before about the hackathon. Are they gonna happen in a virtual setting like last year, or it's gonna be in real life hackathons, or a mix of both?
Um, I think for the first one in the beginning of the year, it'll be like last year, where the first hackathon we did last year was virtual. But looking to the events calendar, we could make it one or both of the middle and end of the year hackathons, kind of a mix. It's up for debate and discussion, but for right now, I'd say the first one at the beginning of the year would be virtual.
Got it.
Cool. And then I see a question from Oaklid in the chat. It says, "What time does the Zeely working group end?" And he said it's tomorrow. It's not tomorrow. It's next week, right? Next week, Monday.
Well, the submission period where you can submit your participation ends tomorrow. Well, actually, it's not tomorrow. It's kind of today at 00 UTC time. So maybe in about 6-7 hours, we're gonna close the submission period.
Very cool. Thanks for that, Robert.
Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow, I'd say our time. We're gonna announce like, yeah, it's done, and this is how many winners we have and how much AKT we're gonna give them, or they won. Better said, they won because they won it.
Very cool. Cool. And I only have one final thing. My second, or maybe first, or maybe favorite thing in all of these insiders calls is show and tell. And I'm actually at a loss this year, or this call, which is surprising. I usually always have something to show and tell. I got nothing to show and tell. I guess what everyone on this call knows that my wife and I just bought a house, so I think you already saw pictures of that. That's been taking up all my time. I think next week maybe there'll be one big announcement that I'll share with you guys, but you have to be a special insider, so I'm not sharing that one publicly. But stay tuned for that call. But any show and tells, anything that anybody wants to ask for feedback, ask for support, has general questions about, now's your time to jump in and share those things. I see Tyler's posting links to something. What's that you're posting link there, Tyler?
That's just want to highlight some of the work that the working group around the Akash website has been doing. That's the most up-to-date staging version of the website. There was a group led by Piyush called Human HQ that started coming to many of the SIGs and working groups. SIG Design started talking about how they can support the community. Then put a proposal on GitHub discussions around how they specifically can support the community by doing a website revamp. I know it was a decision from the larger ecosystem to have an open source website that anybody can contribute to, something that moved fast, something that was like a hub for all information related to Akash, everything from stats to community groups to community, just like all in one place. So they put a proposal on, they came to steering committee. They heard from the steering committee, and then they put a proposal on chain. They got community pool funding for that proposal, and then have been working very closely with members of the wider community and the working group to actually develop the website. And it's going to be ready in the next couple of weeks. You can check again the link that is there, or you can look inside the GitHub project boards and see all the things that many of the core team and many members of the community are working on, and kind of track progress on all these items in real time and ask questions too. So I just want to shout out the working group for the Akash website specifically, and just show off, all the things that they've done, but also tell about SIGs and other stuff. So pardon me.
Yeah, and I forgot to hand it to you about any updates you wanted for the SIGs working groups. I think you just, anything else on the SIGs or working groups you wanted to cover? I think that was a good call out.
Yeah, no, I just want to shout out Jin as well. I know there's been a lot of stuff happening with the SIG Analytics working group at the beginning of the year. There was no real open source indexer. And since then, now there's like archival nodes that anybody in the community or in the world can access. There's a front end dashboard that folks can kind of look at stats. And then I know the CloudMost team is going to be making the stats that were previously a part of Akash Analytics like more public as stats.akash.network. So that's just two examples of like the real work that's happening month over month in the SIGs and working groups. I know that people are participating from all over the world. I do want to also highlight that the SIG clients SIG clients monthly meeting happening next Monday. It's been moved a couple of times, but again, there's groups from Dubai, India, the North America, just all over, building clients on top of Akash. So finding a time that works for folks has been challenging, but folks are committed to being available at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific on Monday to kind of talk about what different clients, whether it be Spheron, CloudMost, NodeOps. There's a number of people that are building tools on top of Akash and leveraging Akash resources. They're going to come together to talk about the things that they're building, so we can, collaborate on some of those items, and just just highlight all the progress that's happened in 2023. So just want to highlight that as well, and I'll shut up.
Anything else, Tyler? Geez, would you just stop already? No, thank you for that update, Tyler. I think it's super useful, and big shout out to everyone who's contributed to SIGs and working groups this year. Lots has been accomplished, and it would not be possible without you guys. So big shout out. All right, and I think we're at the time to introduce SubQuery. So SubQuery is a project that we've actually just recently made some announcements with, and we thought it'd be a good time to bring in one of those SubQuery team members, Boris, who's on this call, to kind of give an update on what SubQuery is, some of the things that they're working on, and maybe some of the connective tissue between Akash and SubQuery. So Boris, feel free to take it away.
Definitely. Hey, everybody. So excited to be talking here. Heard something about open source indexes, and I guess that's the right time that I came with my demo. I've also prepared some slides, so I'll be sharing my screen. You should be able to see the slides now, right?
Yep, you're good.
All right. So virtual workshop on data indexers. I'm going to be starting with problem discovery. Then I'm going to be presenting SubQuery as a solution. Then there's demo time and time for the questions. So essentially, SubQuery is an indexer. So indexer is a